What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Now tonight's video is going to be all about my two tiger Oscars I got at the back there. Now I keep getting asked all the time on Instagram, and a few people on YouTube keep asking me to do a video on the Oscars because I basically don't really talk about them in my channel. But they are fantastic fish to keep. They are huge monster fish. Don't get me wrong, these fish are really cheap in some shops. You can get them for like 12 quid, something like that. But they're absolutely fantastic fish to keep. They're really interactive. They do have the odd tear up here and there. As you can see, there's a couple of scars on them where they've been sort of biting at each other. But they're really cool fish to keep. I've always kept Oscars. Ever since I've been in the hobby, I've always had like a big random tank set up somewhere with like a couple of Oscars in it. And these two are actually, I think they are actually trying to breed. As you can see, one of them is sort of doing a breeding sort of sign. And the other one, the one at the back as well, is sort of doing like a shaky sort of thing. So I have bred Oscars in the past before. They are quite easy to breed. You just need like sort of a bowl in there or a plate or something like that, a terracotta plate, and they do breed on that. But I don't really want to breed these guys because I don't need any more of them. But these two are tiger Oscars. They're probably one of the most common Oscars you can get. You can get albino Oscars, you can get red Oscars, lemon Oscars, all sorts of different types. There's also a long fin Oscar which you can get, but I've always been told not to buy that sort of Oscar because it's been bred after bred after bred, and the breed line of them is pretty rubbish and they don't last that long. So that's what I've been told, but I've never kept them. But they're really cool fish to keep. Look, you can see they're actually going to have a little bit of a tear up now on the video, which is quite cool to see. Now they are really big fish, these fish, you know. If you get them out of the tank, they are massive. They sort of fill up a big net, and they're heavy as well. So they are, you do need to get yourself a big tank like this here. Personally, this is a 6.2 foot tank, something like that, and it's probably the smallest tank I would put these guys in. I wouldn't personally keep them in like a 4 foot. You could probably keep them in a 5 foot tank. That'd probably be the sort of smallest probably I'd keep them in. This is big enough for them, but yeah, 5 foot is probably the smallest I put them in. They eat like absolute crazy. You can see the arowana chasing one of them there. They eat like absolute crazy. I feed them prawns, mussels, silverfish, whitebait, all sorts of stuff, pellets, give them loads of stuff. They're not fussy at all. They eat absolutely everything, and they are so interactive when you feed them. Let me sort of bang on the top of the tank here. They might actually come, here they go, they come to the top because they think I'm feeding them. But I've just done a water change on this tank this morning, so they're not actually getting fed tonight, these guys. But yeah, what do you think of these fish, everyone? They are absolute wicked fish to keep. They are very common in the hobby. You can pick them up in most pet shops. They are a very abused fish in the hobby. I've found a lot of people do keep them in like sort of 2 foot, even 3 foot tanks, you know, so it's quite sad because they're quite cheap fish. They are like water puppies, really. You know, they're so interactive. I do miss having these guys in my lounge because they were behind sort of my head on my sofa, if that makes sense. And I did used to sort of interact with you all the time. They know who you are, they're not stupid fish. But water parameters with these guys, you don't really need to check the water parameters. As long as they're nice and clean, the water's clean. You've got to do regular water change with these guys. You need heavy filtration. They like aeration as well, so I've got my air stones in there, as you can see. They do like a bit of water flow, so I've got my FX6s sort of pumping water around this tank. So yeah, they are easy fish to keep, but they're not easy fish to keep, if you know what I mean. You need big tanks, you need big filters, you need to clean your filters regularly because they do make an absolute mess. And like I said earlier, they don't stop eating. They eat like absolutely crazy, honestly. They just go and go and go. I could probably put half a bag or a quarter bag of pellet in here, you know, and they would just keep eating it and eating it and eating it, and they basically just smash it all to the bottom, so they're really messy. All little bits come off it. That's why I've got all the clown arches in here to sort of feed off all of that little bits that come off. So another good thing to when you keep these guys is to have sort of bottom feeding fish as well, which will basically clear up after. Plecos are good as well, or silver dollars, they're quite good at clearing up. But I've always kept clown arches in all my big monster tanks because they are such a fantastic fish at cleaning up after sort of monster fish like the Oscars. Tank mates with Oscars, you can obviously keep them with arowanas, you can keep them with clown arches, as you can see here. Plecos do fine with them. I've got a Titanic pleco there which is doing fine. There's a big Gibby South in pleco around the back there you can keep with. I have kept them with bass before, peacock bass. They do fine with them. The only fish I've had a massive problem with keeping with Oscars is a jaguar cichlid. Now, I had a huge male jaguar cichlid. This was a few years ago now. I had these two guys in a tank with him and a red Oscar, and the jaguar cichlid kept tearing into the red Oscar all the time, and these two guys, and it basically eventually killed the Oscar in the end. So you need to be really careful. Some American cichlids out there will fight with Oscars and stuff. You know, there's lots of American cichlids that will fight with them. I think dove eyes are pretty aggressive against them as well. It's all to do with their sort of shape. You know, Oscars and jaguars are very similar shaped, so they will sort of pick on each other, you know, sort of being the tank boss. But you can keep them with plenty of other fish. You're not obviously going to keep them with sort of these guys here, because all of these guys here, they'd just be sort of dinner, you know, they'll be eaten in seconds. But loads of fish out there you can keep them with. Silver dollars are another really good thing to keep them with, and silver arowanas. I've kept Oscars with silver arowanas before as well. But honestly guys, if people are out there sort of and the idea with getting Oscars, get yourself one. They're fantastic fish to keep, but keep in mind you need a big tank. They are actually the first fish that I bought, the first monster fish I bought, which got me into monster fish keeping, because they were so interactive. I used to love the way they take their food and stuff, and it actually got me into monster fish keeping. So if you're going to go down that route, honestly, you'll probably be buying other monster fish as well. But anyway guys, I don't know what to say about these fish. Just they're fantastic fish to keep. And yeah, keep in mind that you're going to need a bigger tank. But also the albino Oscars look really cool as well. I have been tempted to get myself an albino Oscar for this tank as well. But yeah, thanks for watching the video as always guys. Like and subscribe to the channel, ding the notification bell, and keep it real.